Hello and welcome to the 8th round of the Dynamic Knights Esports Master Tier for the Belgian Grand Prix. My name is Expert, and joining me in the commentary box tonight is the Smeg.
It's very, very nice to be here. It should be an absolutely cracking race here in Belgium. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Cannot wait.
It's going to be a great race to commentate, but thank you for joining me as well, Smeg. And tonight, as we said, we are at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. This is the longest track that the F1 franchise travels to each year, with a total circuit length of 7 kilometers, making it the second longest track in the world behind the Ben GT layout and the Nürburgring Nordschleife. 19 corners make up this track, with 10 corners to the left and 9 to the right, and 2 DRS zones available around the circuit, with 1 on the main straight and 1 down the Camel Straight heading into Lake Coombe. Tonight's going to be a really good race to commentate, but if you want to quickly remind us here, Smeg, of what the top 10 results were from the Belgian Grand Prix, sorry, not the Belgian Grand Prix, the Austrian Grand Prix, that would be good.
The Austrian Grand Prix was an absolutely stellar race. It really was. And the winner from that was Stuart McKenzie. And from the sounds from his post-race interviews, he was absolutely chuffed with that. 40 came out in P2, a very solid battle between these two and the top 6 throughout that entire race. He was incredibly pleased. Extra Evolution, however, we didn't get to speak to him because he doesn't have a mic. But he was leading for some of that race, and unfortunately he made a costly mistake at turn 6, but he recovered to finish 3rd. F1 amazing out on his debut. Finished his 4th championship leader, Zach Cross, in P5, Stilly P6, Aussie Busy Rick P7, Ples P8, Darren 11 P9, and the very lazy Tal P10. And we're just going to have a quick look at the Drivers' Championship as well. I already made mention of this. Zach Crichton leading the championship at 208 points. That is 29. No, it's not. 31 points clear. 31 points clear of 40-22 in second place. Now that seems like a lot. If you use a real-life Formula 1 point system, that's one race win ahead of your main competitor. But with this point system, with 42 for a race win, it's not too bad a gap, I have to say, but there's still a lot of work to do for 40. Stuart McKenzie in P3, X-Revolution P4, Scully P5, Aaron P6, Plebs P7, Wildboy P8, Tolster P9, and the Gaming Wafer P10. But after that, from 11th all the way down to 16th, it's very, very close. So, although that's a top 10, Gaming Wafer on 62 in 10th place, it is still very, very close in the lower half of the 10 to catch up into the top 10 placings. And just to have a quick look at the Constructors' Championship, as expected, Mercedes are leading the way with Racing Point in P2, Ferrari P3, Red Bull P4, Alfa Romeo P5, Williams P6, Haas P7, Renault P8, McLaren P9, and unfortunately in the lowly P10 is Toro Rosso. But we're only at the halfway point in the championship. A lot of things can happen between now to the season's end at Suzuka. So
it's going to be an interesting one.
Keep an open mind, I think.
I'm just going to quickly as well, actually no, I'll just go straight to the multi. So here's the multi for tonight's race anyway, for the Master Tier. Alex to still finish outside the top 10 with a 2K wheel, less than 1.5 safety cars, which it is pretty, there is a pretty big chance of there being a safety car tonight around the Belgian Grand Prix, especially on the first lap heading into La Source at turn 1, being a very slow first turn, or one of the slowest first turns, I reckon, on the calendar. And then a winner to start on the soft tyres, and Aaron to bounce back with the podium. After his last round, I do believe he had a pretty poor round at the Austrian Grand Prix, if I'm correct. I can't remember quite what happened. If you can give us a little bit of light on that.
I'm pretty sure he had a pretty shocking race, which I think he was up there in top 6 at one stage, if memory serves me correctly. Yeah, but he still scored some solid points out of the round, so I think he'll be looking to bounce back quite big here at Belgium.
We'll have to see how he goes, but it looks like the drivers are now out on track for their qualifying sessions. We're going to swap over to the main screen now. Let me know in the live chat as well your top 3 predictions for the Belgian Grand Prix, but also your pole position guess as well. But we'll start with you, Smeg. Who do you reckon is going to get pole for this afternoon's Master T at the Belgian Grand Prix?
It's very hard to ignore Zach Crichton. I mean, he's just absolutely dominated this year. The fact that he's still leading the championship, even though he missed out on the round, is quite incredible. His sheer pace is very, very difficult to ignore. X Revolution, he's shown some really good speed over the past couple of races as well, so I wouldn't count him out. And Austria's pole sitter, Zach's teammate Aaron L3 F4, he pretty much created a lap of the gods around Austria. It was an absolutely blinding lap. A 1 minute 3.8 is absolutely wonderful to watch. Perhaps he can carry that sort of form here into Belgium, but for my prediction, it just has to be Zach. He's an absolutely fantastic pace. He's just really, really difficult to ignore for pole position and for the race win as well.
I definitely agree with you there. I reckon Zach's going to be pretty quick in this qualifying session, but I honestly reckon Toddy's going to have it. I reckon Toddy's going to pull out a really nice lap here at the very end. I reckon he will. He's been doing a little bit of practice, I do believe, around the Belgium circuit, so we'll have to see how he goes. But let's quickly, while we're here as well, let's get your top 3 predictions for the Belgian Grand Prix race as well. Or do you reckon we should wait until after the qualifying session? As we just saw Stuart McKenzie nearly put it in the wall heading through that right-hander. It's very easy to do as the wall kind of comes back out at you. But do you want to have a quick prediction now, Smeg? Or do you want to wait towards after qualifying?
If I were to have just a quick prediction, at the moment, I'm not too sure. I'm trying to keep as much an open mind as possible moving into this race. But if I were to have just a cheeky prediction, we might have a safety car on lap 1. I'll just get... very lazy tail. That's a 5 grid place penalty.
Very lazy tail just got himself a 5 place grid penalty. Did it say sorry?
Yeah, he had severe contact with X Revolution.
Oh, as you can see, he's down the escape road at the bus stop chicane, so I'm not too sure what's happened there with Tao. Maybe he got himself caught out. Maybe I believe Tao was on a lap when I went through and had a quick little look at the order, so he may have been balked there by X Revolution. I'm not too sure. We'll have to see what the stewards have to say about that. But currently at the top of the timing sheets is F1 Amazing Hour with a 1 minute 43.6, a tenth and a bit ahead of 40 is now Aaron goes to pole position with a 1 minute 43.6. There's a couple of couple of hundredths faster than F1 Amazing Hour's time. So the Mercedes driver now goes to provisional pole position. I'm going to go through the order as it is the 2 Williams in P4 and 5 of Wogboy and Dr. Dre. Todd C in P6, Billy 7th, Toes Rudy 8th, and rounding out the last of the drivers that have set a time so far is Alex 96NZ in that Red Bull.
It's actually quite nice to see how close the times are already. I mean, yes, it is just the start of the session. There's still a lot of lap to go. But the 43s and 44s all the way down the order, and none of these guys are slow. And
yeah.
I just can't wait to see how close it is. As you said, it's the longest track in the season, but to see the times so close between these guys, it just really shows the competitiveness of the field. Really.
We're gonna have
Alex is a reserve driver for tonight, and he's 1 second behind Rudy in P8. That's how much of a jump it is. Like, Alex would be a fine addition into the T2 Championship, the Diamond Championship. That's how much of a jump it takes to get into the Masters. It's quite amazing to see, really.
Definitely. It is a very tight competition here in the Masters Series. Obviously, all these drivers are running no assists, so it's completely down to the driver and how quick they can drive, but it looks like Zach Crichton is about to cross over into his third sector. He did have a purple second sector there. Not too sure how he went in the first sector, but he does have a tow from his teammate here, heading down into the final sector. Aaron's going to pull out of the way there, as you can see, so he's going to get a very nice tow there, is Zach Crichton. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does jump his teammate here for pole position as he heads into the bus stop chicane, braking very deep, heading into the first part of the chicane, braking way after the 100-meter board. But now heading up to the line, DRS zone available here. Has no ERS left in that car, but he goes to pole position now with a 43.3, so he's 3 tenths faster than his teammate, but I definitely think that would have helped him a bunch heading down that straight, heading into the fast left-hander. I'm trying to remember what corner that was. Heading into the fast corner. I'll update you on that in a sec.
It's called Blanchimont.
Blanchimont, that's right.
It's the corner.
Yep,
that's
it.
The corner you're looking for. But yeah, it's 3 tenths of a second. Like, that's a lot of time to find over your own teammate. But yeah,
Definitely is.
It just shows you how powerful it is in this game, particularly. Both the tow and DRS in the race is going to play a massive part here.
El Tonki's also on a lap.
Demonstration of it.
El Tonki's on a lap as he heads through Radion and El Rouge now. Up the hill he goes, one of the most famous corners in world motorsport as he heads down the Camel Straight, heading into Lake Coombe. Normally you want to look at around the P0 board on the right-hand side of the track there. It's normally where you want to try and brake for this corner. Is heading through this left-hander, just lift off, and same for this corner as well. As El Tonki's trying to keep it on track here, runs it a little bit wide, and now heading into this fast right-hander. Very easy to lock the inside front, especially with no ABS on these cars. You're going to try and keep it as close to the curb as possible, and then heading into the corner with no name. Uses a lot of curb on the inside. Also very easy to invalidate your time as he heads down to Pouon now in qualifying. Normally just a lift off here, but he just gets to stop. Nearly invalidates his time on the exit there. But do you want to take it away for the final sector here, Smeg?
Well, he's coming into turn 12 and turn 13 now. A beautiful set of flying colours here into the left-hander, now into the right-hander of 14. Just be careful here. Try not to run too far out wide like that. You don't want to catch the gravel, otherwise it'll spit you into a wall. Now coming into the fast left-hander of Blanchimont. It should be absolutely flat. I don't think he'll get a tow from the car in front. I think that's 40. He's on an out lap. There we go. Now coming into the bus stop chicane, heavy on the brakes. Third gear. I would typically use second to get extra rotation. Oh, I thought he would have invalidated there.
Yeah.
You have to be very, very careful. Oh, I think he did too.
He did invalidate his time heading through the final corner. So, unfortunately for him, that just completely ruined that lap. But, yeah, as you said, he was using third gear, and they're probably just trying to do that so he can get some nice traction on the exit of the bus stop chicane, because it's very easy to spin the rear wheels up there. But we've got a couple of predictions in the live chat now, as we can see. Banana Cake Pie reckons for P1, it will be Toddy, P2, Aaron, and then P3 it will be 40. So he doesn't reckon Zach Crichton's going to get on the podium here this afternoon. And then we have Cracker Jack. He reckons Amazing Hour's going to win ahead of Aaron and Zach in P2 and P3. So we'll have to see how that goes. Servanite reckons that Tao will qualify 5 positions lower, or he will start 5 positions lower than what he qualifies. So he's not too far off that prediction. Jimmy James, welcome to the chat as well. Yeah, let me know some more predictions in the live chat as well. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Server clearly was paying attention to what I said about Tao getting a 5 grid plate penalty. Very, very nice Server. But yeah, very unlucky for Tao that he got that. I hope he'll supply us with some onboard footage later on, probably post-race, so that we can actually have a nice look what actually happened there. Oh, and
Spilly's gone.
Oh my goodness!
Where was that?
Me!
Oh, El Rouge.
That was right at the top of Radion. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Extra Evolution, pole position. Sorry about that. For 142.9, so he's the first driver now into the 1 minute 42s is Extra Evolution, but unfortunately we're not going to get a view here, so Extra Evolution will be the next car to come up to Spilly, so hopefully we might be able to get a little insight here on stream, but we'll have a look, see if we can see on board with the Red Bull car what's happened to Spilly. Oh, his car's unfortunately gone, so did you get a view of that, Smeg, on what happened to him?
Yeah, I got a view of that. It's full on, just drove it into the inside wall right at the top of Radion. I'm not sure if he had any sort of damage or whether or not the car got loose going through Eau Rouge, but yeah,
okay.
riding on board with
Oh,
a very
Revolution's
lazy
left.
tail. He was just in behind when it happened, and my goodness me, it was just a very big shunt into the wall for Spilly, and yeah, it's retired the car.
Just speaking about Tal as well. Speaking about Tal, he hasn't validated his time as well as he heads into Blanchimont. So he does have a little bit of traffic in front of him, but he has been pushing on this lap still. So we'll have to see what happens. He does have the gaming way for a run in front of him. Does he pit though? No, he continues to finish this lap, so we'll have to see what time he can do. I think he will be up, but he's not going to go to pole position here. He sets a 1 minute 43.9. So that would have put him into... That actually would have put him down in position 8 behind or in between the two Williams of Wogboy and Dr. Dre. But 40 jumped himself up into P2 as well while we were riding on board with the Ferrari driver. So nice job there from the Racing Point driver. Zach Crun also up into P3 for Mercedes ahead of Mackenzie 4th, and rounding out your top 5 is Aaron L3F4 for Mercedes. He's actually gave his teammate a little bit of a tow there as well, heading down into Lake
I
Coombe.
was just about to mention. Yeah, Aaron and Zach working together again, this time down the Kennel Straight. But Zach, unfortunately for him, he made a small mistake at Lake Coombe. It just looked like he just overshot the corner ever so slightly. Cost him a little bit of time at the moment. Still looked very quick, going for Kuon. Coming into turns 12 and 13. Very nice. A bit of a lock-up, but it hasn't cost him too much time. Into the left-hander. Uses all the curve on exit. Into fourth gear. Yep, stays in fourth.
He touches the grass.
That is very close. He's up by a tenth and a half though, so that mistake hasn't cost him too much. Let's see, now it's going into Boschinot, the fast left-hander, absolutely flat. Through the 25 kilometers an hour. Up to the 100-meter board, heavy brakes, second gear.
Oh, he boxes.
Oh,
He's bended as well. He bended heading into the pit lane, so he was lucky there. He didn't lose his wheels. Zach, he will be somewhat shitting himself there, but anyway, Stuart McKenzie has also boxed into the pits as well, so extra evolution now with 3 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the session. He sits on pole position, the only driver at the moment into that 1 minute 42, so the Red Bull seems to be performing for him as he's liking. Plevs, Tao, El Tonki, Alex, El Tonki, Tao and Plevs have all failed to set a lap so far, so hopefully those three can get out. Looks like El Tonki did start a lap there, but unfortunately invalidated. Actually, no, he's on his out lap. Never mind. He's going to be starting a lap now. So let's ride on board with the Toro Rosso driver for the second time as he heads into the bus stop chicane to start his flying lap here with 3 minutes remaining. This will be his final lap, I do believe, as he heads into La Source. Now, you're going to be looking at around that 100-meter board just after there for El Tonki. Gets to stop though nicely in third gear, really minimizing the traction. He's up into fourth very early, so that's going to hurt him a little bit on traction. But he's now trying to set up for El Rouge. You want to try and open that entry up as much as possible as he heads through. Radion runs really wide on both those corners there, so that's going to hurt him a little bit down the Camel Straight as he heads into Lake Coombe. He's going to be trying to spot his braking point right about now, which is around that P0 board on the right-hand side of your screen. Normally you want to use a lot of that curve on the inside, but Ellis is taking it very cautiously just so he can get a lap in. Obviously, this will be his only time lap available to him as he now heads into this right-hander. Extra Evolution's joined back the session, so fortunately for him, he may be able to get another lap time in, and if he is quick enough, but he heads into the corner with no name. Normally you want to run it out nice and wide there, but he still gets it turned. We'll have to see what lap time he's able to do as he runs really wide through Puan. Does this invalidate his time? No, he somehow stays. Well, apparently stays within the track limits. Normally I would have gotten validated if that was me, but he heads into this right-hander now, this chicane-type section of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit as he's now heading into the final corner of the second sector. He will cross the sector line right about now. He sets a 16.4 overall, so he's now heading, pretty much his final sector is flat out as he heads, or he's about to head into Blanchimont. He's missed a couple of, this hasn't been the cleanest of laps here so far from El Tonki, so he may even try and go again if he really wants to, but now he's setting up for the bus stop chicane, braking at that 100-meter board. Going to turn it in pretty early for the first section and then run it for a late apex for the second corner. But now he runs it really wide. Does he invalidate? No, he doesn't. He's going to continue. But what time does he set? A 1 minute 45.2 for the Toro Rosso driver. He holds on to P14. So a lot of the drivers now are on their outlaps for their final runs. So I'm trying to remember, did you say Zach Crine you reckon would get pole position there, Smeg? Ooh, you talking, Smeg? I can't hear you. We may be having a few technical difficulties here with the Smeg, so hopefully he can get that resolved. But anyway, I'll just fill in for him here. As we can see, 40 is about to start us up. The whole top 7 at the moment are on their outlaps. Alex looks like he may, or he's on an outlap as well by the looks of it. Toes Rudy is on a lap. We're going to get right on board with him as he exits La Source, heading into El Rouge, and Radioni goes. Just a little bit of oversteer in that Renault car, manages to collect it up though as he heads down the Camel Straight, opting to use hot laps, so that's a bit interesting. Normally you want to be up in an overtake as it does give you a little bit more performance in the engine on the top end, but he heads into the start of the second sector now. Goes the Renault driver, heading into turn 8 rather. Runs a little bit deep, but still gets the corner, or the car back to the apex, heading into turn 19 of the corner with no name. Can you hear me now, Smeg?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. So we had having a little technical difficulties there, unfortunately, but we're going to keep on board now with Toes Rudy as he heads through Puon. He's just kept it within the track limits, heading into the fast corners of 12, 13, and about to head into turn 14. Just gets it turned.
Yes, just to answer your question, yes, I did predict Zach to be on pole position for this race. He's got a lot of work to do in order to get there. Oh, Tolster and a Ferrari. That's a very lazy tail. They've collected each other, and Tolster gets a 5 grid place penalty. Oh my goodness.
So Todster, and who was that? So Tao. Okay, so that's interesting.
Yeah. So Tao won't be able to set a lap at all. So he'll be definitely starting from last place. Regardless if Plev sets the time or not, he will be starting from 17th on the grid. Yeah, they've had a moment with each other just after Lacombe.
Yeah, okay.
There's him and Todster. So that will demote Todster to 15th.
So he's going to be down in P10, so he will have that 5-spot grid penalty. So he'll be starting P15, or potentially worse if someone improves. But Wogboy, P4 now with a 1:43.3. So he's looks like Extra Evolution has a pretty nice advantage here. Looks like Zach is on a lap. I'm not too sure. He's actually 3/10 up. So this is actually going to be really tight here between Zach Crun and Extra Evolution as he heads into the bus stop chicane. I do believe that is 40 right behind him as well. So if Zach can just keep this bus stop chicane clean, it should potentially be able to get to pole positions. Open DRS right about now. He heads up to the line. P2 just off his time there. We're talking hundredths of a second. 40 goes to pole position now with a 1:42.923. So very tight between our top 3. There's tenths of a second between the top 3 there. So what a lap, well, what an end to the qualifying session there between 40 and Zach Ryan. Wogboy a couple of tenths off in the end there, but that is your top 4 for your Dynamic Nights Esports PS4 Master Tier. That was really, yeah.
That is very close, I have to say. Over the longest circuit in the calendar, it's less than a tenth that separates first to third. Then it's half a second, almost half a second back to Wogboy. So the top 3 showing absolutely stellar pace in qualifying. Wogboy P4, Stu McKenzie P5, Aaron P6, F1 Amazing Hour P7, Dr. Dre P8, Plebs P9, Rudy P10, Todster 11th, but he'll start 16th. Robbie Alonso 12th, Gaming Wafer 13th, Spilly 14th, Alex 15th, El Tonki 16th, starting dead last. Very lazy tail with the 5 grid place penalty as well. Well, it's not going to affect him too much. He's starting last on the grid.
So hopefully we'll have to see what he's able to do, but we're going to let the drivers now head over to the grid for the Belgian Grand Prix. Let me know some more predictions in the live chat and we'll be back with you shortly. As you can see now on your screens, the drivers are beginning their formation lap. The 7 kilometers they will have to cover to finish this formation lap. But just a little quick update on where everyone ended up after penalties. Obviously, you need to have a look at Tao and Todser. So Tao will be starting from the rear of the grid down in P17 on those medium compound of tyres, and Todser will be starting P16 on the mediums as well. So they're doing the old strategy here. They're starting on the harder version or the harder compound of time. They will go to the softs at the end. So a lot of these drivers at the front that will start on the softs, I should say, will not really want a safety car at the beginning of the races. That's really going to hurt them because they're just going to get bunched up for a while. So they're going to need to try and keep it clean, other drivers. But just a little quick reminder of your qualifying session. 40.22 took pole position ahead of Extra Evolution and Zach Crichton. They were all separated by under a tenth of a second, so it's going to be mega tight between these top 3 here this afternoon. Wogboy in P4. P5, Stuart McKenzie. P6, Aaron. 7th F1 Amazing Hour. 8th, Dr. Dre for Williams. P9 will be Plebs leading his teammate Toj Rudy in top 10. But as we just read out your top 10 there, Smeg, who do you reckon is going to win this race now after the qualifying session? What do you reckon my words right now are atrocious. The podium, the top 3 podium will be?
Top 3. Well, it's hard to ignore the top 3 that are there already. 40, Revolution, and Zach. I mean, they pulled off half a second to Wogboy in P4 during qualifying. So if those 3 gentlemen get a really, really good start, I'd imagine they'll be battling all race for those podium positions. But, you know, Formula 1 isn't like that. A lot of things can happen. Safety car on lap 1, or safety car on any time of the circuit, time of the race rather, can really affect the finishing order. But if we have a nice clean race with a lot of green flag running, I suspect it's going to be a battle between the top 3 at the moment. 40, Revolution, and Zach.
What do you reckon the order's going to be?
Again? Or the order? Zach has a habit of coming out on top. So I think
he's in a Mercedes, so he's always going to go out on top.
Yeah, it's very hard to ignore that. 40 has had this curse where he finishes second a lot, so that seems appropriate. And Revolution in P3. Let's go with that. So Zach, 40, then Revolution.
Okay.
For the top 3 here at Belgium.
Sweet as. Well, we're waiting now for the drivers. We're waiting for Tao, as you can see, at the rear of the grid. The light sequence is about to start. I cannot change my camera view, so we're stuck on this view, unfortunately. But we have 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. We have a long hold, I guess. Okay, I think it's glitched. Hopefully this fixes. It's glitched for me, I'm sorry. Hopefully this fixes. Codemaster, and we are underway for a very long wait there, but it looks like Extra Evolution had a pretty nice start, but he's going to have to slot in behind the racing point there of 40, heading into turn 1. Zach tried to stick his nose in there, heading into La Source, but managed to not make contact. There's a little bit of clusterfuck at the back there between the Ferrari, I do believe, of Spilly. He tried diving down the inside, heading into La Source, but it looks like the top 3 are unchanged at the moment. Aaron's got himself up in a P4. And who was...
Sorry to cut you off, but Plebs has had a massive incident at Radion. Oh my goodness me, he was side by side, I think, with the gaming wafer. He's very lucky not to put it in the wall. But yeah, they were coming up side by side through Radion as Plebs is doing a few donuts. And yeah, made contact, spun gaming wafer spun Plebs round, and he drops the last plate and retired.
So he's got terminal damage there, has Plebs. So unfortunately for him, he will be the first retirement from the Belgian Grand Prix. And we now have a virtual safety car. So the first safety car in this Grand Prix on the opening lap of the race. So Aaron as well, he's got himself up 2 spots at the start of the race. He's up in a P4. Stuart McKenzie in P5. So he's held on to his position, or his starting position. Wogboy's down too. So Aaron and Wogboy pretty much swapped positions here. Amazing House held on to his P7. So is Dr. Dre in P8. Romeo Alonso's up 2 spots into P9 now. And Gaming Wafer is also up 2 spots into the top 10 for the Toro Rosso team. Alex in P11 ahead of Tao, who's up a couple of spots off the start. He's already up in a P12, so he's done a pretty good job here at the beginning of the race. Toj Rudy's dropped a couple. He's down 3 spots into P13. Todser 14th, 15th, Spilly and El Tonki down in P16. And I wouldn't be surprised if Spilly had a bit of damage because he did dive down the inside there heading into turn 1 at La Source. But as you can see there, Zach crying. He's ready to get going already. The virtual safety car, I do believe, will be ending very shortly. We've had a couple more predictions in the chat. I'll read them out in a sec. But look, what's happened here? Zach Ryan's got the Delta glitch, I think. So, what's happening here?
What?
Okay.
And as Zach takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix.
He's let him go.
What? Let him go. There we go.
Okay, but he's let a bunch of people go. Okay, he's let a bunch of people go, but I think what's happened here, I think Zach's got the Delta glitch, so there's unfortunately a little glitch in this in the F1 game where you get a bunch of Delta when the safety car ends, but then around 2 seconds before it actually ends, it kind of gives you just not, like the Delta just massively reduces and it forces you to stop, and that's what happened with 40. So Zach had to give that position back because he must have got a bunch of Delta when the safety car was ending. So now he's dropped behind his teammate, but it looks like he's going to go down the inside now, heading into Lacoum on his teammate, on Aaron. He's going to get the move done, it looks like, and it's also a little battle in front of him of Extra Evolution. And 40, they're going to go side by side, heading into Lacoum, and Zach Crichton down the inside. What a move there from the Mercedes, and he's nearly lost it, heading on the exit of Lacoum, but he held onto it. What a move there from the Mercedes driver. He made 2 passes in 2 corners. Nice job there from Zach Crichton, already back up into P2, but now he has his eyes on that racing point in front of him, or pretty much the exact same car, the pink Mercedes, they call it, in front of him. So Stuart McKenzie, sorry, F1 Amazing, I should say, is going down the inside of Logboy, heading into Poo-on. What a move there from the Haas car behind him. It's the 2 Williams going side by side, heading into turn 12 and 13. Who's going to get the job done there side by side, heading into this right-left chicane? Who's going to get the job done? It looks like Dr. Dre is now going to get ahead of his teammate for P7.
Wow, what a brilliant exchange all the way up and down the field. They're really fighting hard for these positions. Oh, it's Dr. Dre coming out of that right-hander, has a massive moment, and he leaves himself very vulnerable to his teammate coming into Blanchimont. But he has nowhere really to go, does Wogboy. He might have a look up the inside here at the bus stop that he won.
Sorry, I'll interrupt you here. That's Extra Evolution. I think may have just got a little warning there because Aaron's trying to make a move now. So I think 40 broke really early for that final chicane there, and it kind of forced everyone to take avoiding action on everyone, well, each other there. And it looks like Aaron is having to defend it from Stuart McKenzie behind him. They're going to go side by side now by the looks of it, heading into Radion and El Rouge. So they head down the old main straight, heading up El Rouge and Radion now. I think Stuart McKenzie's going to get a move done here as they head down the Camel Straight. No, DRS is now available as it is lap 3, I should say. You can see he's right in that slipstream there. Stuart McKenzie, unfortunately, Aaron's getting a pretty solid tow from Extra Evolution in front of him. F1 Amazing Out didn't get to make a move there on the Alfa Romeo in front of him. So the top 6 are going to hold positions for a little bit longer in this race, but 40 still leads away ahead of Zach Ryan, Revolution, Aaron, and McKenzie rounds out your top 5.
What a brilliant start there. Just looking back at the pack, we've had a few drivers make stops. So Todd Stuck, Rudy, Spilly, and Romy Alonso have all made stops. And in the midst of all the chaos at the front, I believe the Gaming Wafer also had a moment at Lake-Com. He lost a whole heap of positions. He's currently in P12 at the moment, fairway behind his teammate, as well as a damaged wing. So he's going to be very much off the pace. But he has nothing. He has no other strategies to go on with. He can't really do the 2-stop. Far too slow around this place, and the hard compound tyre is also very slow around here, so he's kind of stuck with this broken front wing for a couple of laps at least. Yeah, this battle at the front, look at all of this, it's absolutely brilliant. All of the drivers are within 1 second of each other, all the way down to P9, which is the very lazy tower, and he's on the medium compound tyre. Suddenly, he's not in a bad position.
Towers in P9 at the moment for Ferrari, but Zach Crichton now goes faster with a 47.1, I do believe that said. He's sitting in P2, but he's also trying to shape up a move on the racing point in front of him. But now Alex into the pit lane now. He's going to be another one of the drivers, I do believe the 3rd driver to make a pit stop so far, but he also, I do believe, has a 10-second time penalty from corner cutting already. So I'm not too sure what's happened there. He may try and get that removed if it was not a fair penalty, but Zach Crichton looks like he's going to get his moves done here on the 40 for the race lead, heading into Lacoum. They go. Does he get the move done? We've got a pretty bad camera angle here, but it looks like he will take the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. He's having to defend here from 40s. He nearly loses the rear end there, did the Racing Point driver, but he holds on to the car. So Zach Crichton now into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Extra Evolution's right there as well. He's going to try and take advantage of these two battling in front as well. So this is the battle for the lead. As you can see how close everyone still is on the mini-map on the right-hand side of your screen. So that is really good if these drivers can all hold on to each other. Obviously, Aaron's in that battle as well. So is McKenzie, Amazing Out, Dr. Dre, Wogboy, and Tao will round out the rear of that little battle pack. Gaming Wafer's down a little bit further. He's on the exit of the corner with no name. And then he has his teammate of El Tonki right behind him in P11.
I'll just have a quick look at the penalties just to see if any of the top three, any of the top drivers have gotten any. And at the moment, everyone looks good. So they've all treated each other very well on the first couple of laps. Got a couple of guys with warnings, but it's nothing to worry about at this stage. So it's very close, but they're also racing each other very fairly at the moment. It's very good to see. As Zach Bryden will cross the line to complete lap 4 of 22. We move on to lap 5 and kicks another fastest lap of 47. Very nice time on 4-lap-old sauce.
So it looks like 40's going to try and shape up a move here on Zach Ryan as they head through Radion, and you can see 40 nearly lost the car there. He's going to have a nice tow, and obviously DRS available to him. Zach Ryan's running 8% ERS at the moment, so will 40 go down the inside? He is going to go down the inside heading into Lake Coombe. Do they make contact? Zach very deep under brakes. He's forced to cut the corner there, so I think Zach will have to give that spot back. He does. So now Zach relegated back down to P2, 40 into the lead of the Grand Prix, but I think the smart thing for Zach here would be just to sit behind 40 for a little while here, because you can see he's got no ERS available to him. He was running 8%, probably down to 5 or 4 by the end of the Camel Straight. Nearly puts it in the wall there, did Zach. He got a little bit of oversteer on the exit. So, unfortunately for him, he's going to drop back down to P2 behind 40. All this sector here, it's probably not the best place to be behind a car, but for Sector 1 and Sector 2, it is pretty much ideal to be behind a car because you can just get such an advantage with straight line speed and DRS with the slipstream, I should say, and DRS available to you.
I just noticed there, Wogboy in P8, he's the first driver of this top group to get a 3-second time penalty. So he's the first driver that's to now have penalties. As Extra Revolution, he is very close. He is super close to Zach, because Zach covers into the bus stop chicane, which will compromise his run ever so slightly. It's not too bad. Out they come, the top 3. Aaron just in behind in tow, slowly dropping away. You can sort of see that top 3 group forming. They're really battling hard.
Revolution nearly hit the gearbox of Zach there.
I think they're battling that hard. It's keeping these guys behind, a bit of a sniff of victory. So long as Aaron stays within this top 3, and they keep battling like they are, as Zach goes around the outside at the Camel Straight into P1, a very straightforward move. But locks up and has a very poor run, but 40 has absolutely nowhere to go. Then Revolution has a run on both cars, but he also has nowhere to go.
40's back down the inside now on Zach Ryan, so he's going to get the move done as he now heads into the corner with no name. So 40 back into the lead, and I think Extra Evolution just gave Zach a little touch there heading through the corner with no name. Zach was pushed out wide, and now the Red Bull driver trying to take full advantage of that little error there potentially from Zach. So now Zach's actually lost a bunch of time. He has 7 tenths now separate himself and the race leader, so this could hurt him down the Camel Straight now because he's not going to be in the ideal DRS and slipstream that he really would want, because he's got his ERS back up to 33%, but 40 is running at 50. So I think if I was 40 at the moment, I'd try and really push through this final sector to try and make sure Zach doesn't get any real good slipstream or DRS down the Camel Straight.
And now with those guys continuing to battle, Aaron and Mackenzie are now starting to battle as well. Mackenzie right up Aaron's gearbox going through Blanchimont, but seems... Mackenzie's chucked it into none. That's why.
Zach in the pits.
That is a very early stop.
So that is a very early stop.
That is...
So I think what Zach will be hoping for is a safety car. So normally you can, if there's a safety car around now, you can pit onto the mediums and then go to the end if there's normally a safety car. So I think you'd be expecting a safety car to happen. There's now yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. Alex is out of the race. So could this be the safety car that Zach wanted? Virtual safety car. So that's not the ideal thing that he would have wanted. So this actually could help him a little bit here. So if it came out a bit early, that definitely will get him into the lead of the Grand Prix, but I think it came out just a bit too late. I think 40 may just hold on to the lead. Does he come into the pits as well? Will he respond? I think he does. No, he doesn't. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong person. I was looking at Romy Alonso. Never mind. So, Extra Evolution and 40 stay out for an extra lap, as you just saw there. As you can see, Aaron and Revolution. They're nearly running into each other, so I'm not too sure what's going on with those two. But I think what Zach would be planning here is trying to hope for a safety car later on in the race. But now this virtual safety car has ended. DRS is re-enabled. And as you can see, 40's got a 1.7 second lead now between himself and X Revolution. So X Revolution's going to get a bit compromised here, having no slipstream or DRS available to him, but he's going to get swamped up now by the two cars of Aaron and Stuart McKenzie behind him. F1 Amazing Hours trying to catch up as well to that pack in front of him.
But yeah, Zach now down in P8. He is 10 seconds behind the very lazy tail. Now, he has got plenty of clear air, so he can sit some very good laps, string some very good laps together, but the entirety of Sector 1, you will lose so much time because you don't have the slipstream and the DRS. So, although he's not in a
Aaron, so
position,
I'm gonna interrupt you. Aaron's gone. So I think he may have got a tap there from McKenzie, because I did see them make slight contact, and Aaron was spun out before he even got to the bus stop chicane. So a lot of the drivers now into the pit lane. Lap 8 is the ideal pit stop, or the when the pit stop window opens. So Aaron into the pits now. He doesn't have a front wing damage, so he will continue, but I think he did make contact there with Stuart McKenzie. McKenzie could have potentially run a little bit deep into the bus stop chicane and just spun round, but it was very early, even before the braking point, so they may have made contact prior to it, but we'll have to see what the stewards end up saying about that. But where is Zach Cryan? He's up in a P2 now, so he's got a pretty nice lead. As you can see, he's got a very nice lead. 3 seconds separate himself and 40 behind him, so he's pulled out a nice lead here. But will his tyres last towards the end? Again, I think he'll be hoping for a safety car later on this race, which will help him, or a couple more virtual safety cars, which will help him on tyre wear a little bit.
Yes, at the moment, that is a massive gap to have found. 3 seconds on 40. I guess it just shows how much more pace fresher tyres have over the older soft compound tyre in this race. To find 3 seconds, that's absolutely enormous time.
So we'll have to see if 40 can catch up. We'll have to see if he's able to catch up. He's got that gap down to 2.7, so we'll have to see next lap what time he's managed to get it down to. So Revolution's held on to P4 here ahead of Stuart McKenzie, who I believe has a question mark next to his name after that little incident with Aaron, but that's promoted both the Williams up in a P6 and 7, so they're going to take home some nice constructors points here if they can hold on to that. Aaron in P8 at the moment after that little incident. Ellis down in P9 and rounding out your top 10 is F1 Amazing Hour. So at the moment, the drivers we are waiting for to make a pit stop is Very Lazy Towel and El Tonki, so they sit in P1 and P9 at the moment. Toddster, 3 second time penalty for multiple corner cutting warning, so unfortunately for him, he will have a 3 second penalty he will have to owe at the end of the race. Gaming way for him, Toes Rudy in P11, P12 the gaming way for Spilly in P13, P14 Toddster, who just got himself a 3 second penalty, and Romy Alonso back down in P15. And unfortunately the two retirements from the Belgian Grand Prix being Alex 96NZ and Plevs for Renault.
I'm just going to have a look back at the leaders. The gap has neutralized a little bit. It's sort of hovered around that 2.7 second mark. Now, 40's tyres are now finally up to temperature. They're finally up to pressure. Will we actually see him claw back that time? He got pole position here, so it's no reason to think that he can't catch up to Zach. But Zach is an almighty racer. He's unbelievably quick. He's also one of the best defensive drivers that I know of. He's got an absolutely superb defensive technique. As Stuart McKenzie now gets 3 seconds next to his name. So yes, 40 could probably, going off qualifying, catch up to Zach, but overtaking him, particularly towards the end of the race, is going to be one almighty task for the Racing Point driver. Now the gap's come down. It's
2.5.
Jump back up to 2.5.
So no, he's actually gained time. He was 2.7 last lap, so he's slightly closing that gap to Zach Ryan in front of him. Obviously, we're still waiting for Tao and El Tonki to make a pit stop, as they did start on the medium compound tyre. Tao goes around for another lap. I think we'll see him for probably around lap 11. I think we'll see him out till lap 11, lap 12, but we'll have to see, as he still leads away at the moment. But Zach Ryan provisionally provisionally leads the way, but 40's actually starting to get caught now by Extra Evolution. So 40's catching up to Zach Crichton here, but Extra Evolution's catching up to 40 at an even quicker rate as he goes fastest with a 46.8. So he currently has that extra point available to him in this Grand Prix, does Extra Evolution. So we're going to have a quick look at the multi as well, as I've seen the chat going on about it. So unfortunately, the Alex multi and the 1.5 safety car multi has been thrown out of the window. So now we're waiting for the winner to start on softs and Aaron to bounce back with the podium. So it's looking tough for Aaron. It says a yellow flag. That's Williams. Wogboy gone. So Wogboy's...
Oh my goodness, that's
Philly. Virtual safety car.
That's exactly what Philly did. That's exactly what Philly did in qualifying. Oh my goodness me. And the car's pretty much landed in the same spot as well. Going into the outside wall. Oh, inside wall.
Hopefully Tojariti realised... Oh, he needed... You see Tojariti had to take avoiding action there on Wogboy. But unfortunately for the Williams driver... He will be the third retirement from the Belgian Grand Prix this afternoon. So this virtual safety car has now ended, but just going back to the multi, I'm not too sure. When you say safety cars, I'm not sure if we're going with virtual safety cars or full safety cars. We'll have to see what... hopefully Alcatraz can confirm that in the live chat as he is talking in it. Thank you guys so much for joining as well to the stream. If you guys aren't around here, please do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to get notified when the stream goes live. But Very Lazy Tail still leads away, 6 seconds separate himself, but 40, 3 seconds now. So he's actually lost a little bit of time here now to Zach Crichton. So he may have made a little error, but Extra Evolution's got that gap down to just under a second now between himself and the Racing Point. So I don't think he'll get DRS on this straight here, but potentially down the Camel straight he may just get it. We'll have to see. He does have DRS, so this is only going to help Extra Evolution here, trying to get ahead of 40. So I think we might see a little battle here start for P3. Provisionally P2, but we have now got confirmation from Alcatraz that it is full safety cars, so that multi is still going, I guess. There's another yellow flag. That's a Haas driver. Todster is around again, heading at the start of the third sector. Yellow flag, and now green flag back racing, so I thought we would have seen a safety car there, but anyway, he still continues on, does Todster. He's going to have a little bit of pressure now from Romeo Alonso behind him.
Just going back up to Revolution, 40, and Stuart McKenzie. We can't discount him either. He's also got
Revolution.
DRS. Oh my goodness, Revolution! How did you catch up that? Oh, I reckon 40 just gave up and gave.
Oh, he's got a 3-second penalty.
Revolution. There we go. So that's one of the leading contenders getting a 3-second time penalty. Neither 40 or Zach has got one as of yet. Oh my goodness me. But yeah, I think 40, I think he just chucked it into none and just let Revolution on by. Doesn't put up too much of a fight. I think 40 knows that if he fights with Revolution too hard, he's going to lose a lot of time to Zach. And yes, you want to hold on to your position. Every racer wants to hold on, but sometimes you really have to think further along in the race. And at the moment, Revolution is showing fantastic pace. I mean, on the last lap, he set the fastest lap of the race, I'm pretty sure. Or might have been
on the lap before. Yeah.
But yeah, so 40 has no real reason to hold up Revolution if he's showing that sort of pace. It just means they can catch up to Zach quicker during this race, as we now come on to lap 12 of 22. The gap closed up a little bit, now 2.8 seconds, so a lot of laps to go. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And also, don't forget McKenzie, he is there.
I think Aaron may have just made a little error through the bus stop chicane as well, because he just dropped a spot, well, 2 spots actually, to Dr. Dre and F1 Amazing House, so he's back down to P8 now. So unfortunately for him, he's made a little error there, but now let's see, is 40 going to be able to make a move here? I don't think he is. He's a little too far back, unfortunately, but we're getting a couple more predictions now in the live chat. So they're trying to predict what Lao Tao will bin it. So Alex is predicting lap 17. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But he currently leads the way at the moment. He's been out on those medium tyres for 12 laps. Obviously, they were fresh at the beginning of the Grand Prix. So we'll have to see how much longer he stays out. I predicted around lap 12 or lap 13 that he would come into the pit. So we'll have to see what he does. Obviously, there is now 10 laps remaining in the Belgian Grand Prix. So it's going to be a tight battle here. I think Tao's going to come out around Dr. Dre, to be honest. Actually, yeah, I reckon around Dr. Dre he's going to come out. Or even a bit further, maybe. I'm not too sure.
Now, just an update on the gap between Zach and Revolution. It's down to 2.5 seconds. As Revolution is showing pace, so we might see a really good battle for the lead if Revolution continues this sort of form. I think 40 will just like the idea of hanging in behind, just sort of conserve his ERS. He's quite low at the moment, only at 16% in comparison to Revolution, who has almost 50.
Oh, Revolution!
As you can see, run very wide at the bus stop chicane. Leaves him very vulnerable to 40 down the Camel Straight into low com.
So getting a couple more.
And because of that, the gap's opened up as well. 2.8 seconds from 2.5. So
we're getting a couple more predictions in the live chat as well. So Banana reckons lap 19. Alcatraz reckons more into lap 20, and Servanite reckons on the last lap, so we'll have to see, but it looks like 40 is going to be making a move here on the not the game wave, sorry, the Extra Revolution. Down the inside, up into P3, he is now going to try and battle for, does Revolution fight it? No, he doesn't, so 40 back up into P3 now for the Grand Prix, provisionally P2, because Tal is still yet to make a pit stop. He's out, he's still staying out as Tal, so he's pushing those tyres for quite some time. So, yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't think it'll be too long before we see that Ferrari into the pit lane.
I reckon he's just trying to bank on a safety car here at this stage. He's just desperately trying to hang on with these tyres, and as soon as the safety car comes out, he'll jump straight in and put on a fresh set of softs. And if that does indeed happen with the neutralised field, he's going to be absolutely electric in comparison to everyone else. That's if they don't also come into the pits themselves, as Aaron gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, stuck in P8 behind F1 Amazing Hour and Dr. Dre in P7 and P6 respectively.
Well, we see the Ferrari driver into the pit lane this lap as he heads into the bus stop chicane for the 13th time.
Oh, Dr. Dre, speaking of which, goes into the inside wall at turn 15 and completely destroys his front wing as well. Somehow that car is still going.
So what happened to him there? Did he just get up on the curb or something?
I think so, yeah. Just lit it up on the curb, car oversteered into the inside wall. I don't think anyone forced him into the wall. I think it was just purely driver error.
So unfortunately for Dre, he will now be coming into the pit lane for a nose change. Probably will chuck on the soft compounder tyre and go to the end. Maybe even try to go for fastest lap here, will Dre. He's going to drop behind. El Tonki's into the pit lane as well, so... Oh, Ellis just out on the medium, so he'll be in now for a scheduled pit stop. So that could be a little indicator to Tal. Maybe try and see if he will be into the pit lane this lap. So Todser is now Alex's next prediction for the next retirement. So Alex is giving a bunch of predictions here. Aaron has now got himself up into P6, past F1 Amazing Hour. Dr. Dre is up now, and he's going to come out just in front of Todster, but I think Todster will have DRS available to him here, and also a nice little tow on that Williams car, but I don't think he'll be able to hold on to it for too long, as Dr. Dre is obviously on that soft compounder tyre. He will start to pull away, I believe. So as you can see, Dr. Dre's going to hold on to P10 here, so he can try and go for fastest lap here, can Dre, and potentially get himself another point in this Grand Prix. Because at the moment he will get a point for... Oh, actually no, everyone scores points in this, don't they? But I believe that... you only still get the fastest lap point if you finish in the top 10, if I'm correct.
I'm not sure about that. You would have to confirm that with the admins
of Alcatraz in the chat, so let me know. Alcatraz? If so, yeah, so is it just top... You can only get the point in the top 10. I think that's what the rule is, but Extra Evolution, fastest lap, 46.1. So he's now actually made a move now on... Sorry, never mind. Very Lazy Tao is into the pit lane. So Tao into the pits now for his scheduled stop. He's going to drop behind F1 Amazing Hour. I think he's... Yeah, so he's going to drop behind F1 Amazing Hour. Gaming Rafe is a little bit too far back here, so... There's not going to be too much of a gap at the moment between Tao and Amazing Hour, so this could be a little battle here for P6 that will start to spice up.
At the moment, Revolution, I think he's decided to drop the hammer. The gap's now under 2 seconds, and it's slowly been going down. And I think Zach might have made just a little mistake coming out of Lake Holm. I saw a puff of dust come out of the corner, and the gap's now down to 1.6 seconds. So 7 and a bit laps to go. We might see a really juicy battle for the lead as Revolution proceeds to go wide.
40.
Oh, and 40. Okay, so Revolution and 40 are now on equal terms in terms of penalties. I'll just take a quick look at Zach.
Yeah, see how many warnings him and Mackenzie have, because Mackenzie's actually starting to catch up now to 40-22 in front of him. So this could be a four-way battle for the lead here of the Grand Prix. Obviously, Revolution and 40 both have penalties already, so that's going to hurt them a little bit at the end of the race, especially if these guys are all real close.
So with warnings in regard to Zach Crichton, it is one warning. We got that back at lap 7. And Stuart Mackenzie, oh, he's got a penalty as well. He's got 3 seconds next to his name. So Mackenzie, 40 and Revolution are all on equal terms. But Zach, currently only one warning next to his name. So if he keeps up this sort of pace and remains consistent and doesn't gather any more warnings, he's in a fantastic place to win this race. But this is motorsport. Anything can happen, so you always have to try and keep an open mind.
It looks like the gap's kind of stabilised now between 40, sorry, not 40, X Revolution and Zach Crichton. It's still sitting around that 1.7 mark, so I think Revolution is definitely catching up, but obviously once he gets within that DRS range, he's just going to catch up real quick. And as we spoke about before, Dr. Dre, I thought he was going to go in for fastest lap, and he just got that fastest lap to him, so he will now take home an extra point, I do believe, for the Grand Prix. He's down in P10 at the moment. Tao, 3-second penalty, so that's going to hurt him. Potentially, I'm not sure if you're able to check real quick for us, Smeg, to see what Amazing Hour and Aaron both have for time penalties. That would be good. So Tao will be pushing pretty.
3 seconds. And F1 Amazing Hour has only got one warning next to his name. So Amazing Hour looking good for that battle for P5 at the moment. So as Tao has already claimed a 3-second point penalty. So, oh my goodness, that gap has really come down. My goodness me, it's now 1.3 seconds between Zach and Revolution.
It definitely has come down now. So X Revolution now starting to catch up to the Mercedes driver in front of him. As you can see on your screen, so the gap has definitely closed down just visually. As you can see, as they head onto lap 17 of 22, there will be 5 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. El Tonki, 3-second penalty down in P14. Unfortunately, he looks like he will be the last classified driver in this Grand Prix. Dr. Dre and Toes Rudy. So Toes Rudy's gone. So Toes Rudy's lost it heading into the 3rd sector. So unfortunately for him, he's going to lose a lot of time here. Todd's just going to get him heading down the straight, heading into Blanchimont. The harsh driver up now into the points paying positions. So Toes Rudy's actually on hards here, so he must have had to pit very early in this Grand Prix. Spilly's also on hards and El Tonki's on soft, so little tight battle starting to form at the rear of the grid as well.
Ooh, Rudy, 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I reckon he did that at the bus stop chicane as well. Super easy to do. To claim that 5 seconds, and he'll have will he serve that in the pit lane? Oh, he retires. Okay. So he just retires in pits. He's
done in the pit, so that's unfortunate for him. He's not going to be picking up any points. But now Amazing Hour's got ahead of Aaron, by the way, heading into the 2nd sector. So the harsh driver now up into P5, but also need to point out as well, we've had confirmation from Alcatraz that anyone can score that fastest lap point. So at the moment,
so it's not just top 10.
It is Dr. Dre at the moment, and Amazing, I think, would have just got a warning there. He really cut that corner heading through turn 13, I believe, and he cut that corner as well. So I think he's going to be on his last warning now. Here's Amazing Hour, if I'm correct. Well, he's been pushing the limits through that 2nd sector. Aaron's right there trying to get a move done. He's in the slipstream. He's got no ERS available to him, nor is Amazing Hour, so they're pretty much equal at the moment. Will Aaron dive down the inside heading into the bus stop chicane? He shows the nose, doesn't get it done. Todd's another 3-second penalty down in P10 at the moment, but they now start lap 18 of 22. 4 laps remain in the Belgian Grand Prix. Let me know in the live chat your predictions, or who you think is going to win the Belgian Grand Prix. X Revolution now just outside of DRS, but as you can see, he's been pushing massively with ERS. He's got 4%, 2% actually available to him. Zach's got 15% at the moment. 40's got 9%. Stuart McKenzie 30%, and Amazing Hour's got 9, but it looks like Aaron might try and make a move here. He's up in a hot lap. So who's going to get the move done? Aaron's going to go to the inside line on F1 Amazing Hour down the inside, but he has to he's forced to go back out of it. So Amazing Hour's going to hold on to P5 for this time.
There's a brilliant little exchange between those two. And in regards to Amazing Hour, he did collect 1 warning on his previous lap. He didn't collect 2, though. He only collected the 1. So he's now got 2 next to his name. If he gets 1 more, that'll be a 3-second time penalty, which I believe will put him and Aaron on even terms. Yes, it will. We'll put them both on even terms.
So you go.
This battle will, if Amazing Hour makes 1 more mistake, gathers 1 more warning, this is a proper battle for position. And I think Tao, he's now really introduced himself to this. Yep, he's only got the 1 penalty. So both him and Aaron are on level terms. They're fighting properly for position. And then F1 Amazing Hour, just 1 more warning, they'll do it. As Revolution.
So I've got that gap down to under a second. But I'm not too sure. Will he be able to hold on to that? He definitely will. He's down to 7:10. So
yeah.
For the first time in a while, X-Revolution will get DRS available to him, but had a couple more predictions coming to the chat. Alcatraz reckons that Revolution will win the race. Alex doesn't know, but he reckons Tao will not finish. Jimmy James reckons P1, P2 sealed at the moment, so he reckons Zach's going to win, I'm assuming, as he locks up heading into Lake Coombe, that did Zach, so he's definitely struggling at the moment on those tyres. Obviously, he did pit 2 laps earlier than X-Revolution, so his tyres are definitely going to start to fall off around this point, as well as there is now 3 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. So we'll have to see. This is going to be a tight battle, but knowing Zach Ryan, he's not going to give this position up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I mentioned, he's one of the best defensive drivers I know. In fact, I believe you were there to witness a brilliant battle between these two at Bahrain in a T1 race spec race at Bahrain. It was absolutely brilliant to watch these two go at it. And Zach just put the car exactly where he needed to be. And that's what he's going to do here at Belgium. But
it was the jewel in the desert, but now it's the...
incredibly powerful too.
It was the jewel in the desert, but now it's the jewel in the... okay, I'm trying to think where it is now. I was about to say...
What forest is it? I can't remember.
I have no idea, but it looks like Revolution is going to try and set up a move here on Zach. Does he go down the inside here? He actually does. So Revolution's making a move here. Actually, no, he's not. So he thought better of it, so he's going to wait for the DRS. So Zach Crun will lead them heading into turn 1. Will we see some dummies been played now by Zach Crun heading into turn 1? Obviously, we have seen it been done before. Normally, you just run wide here at turn 1. As you can see, Zach Crun locks up. Yellow flag, sector 2. Who's that? That's a Haas, a Todster. Again is around, so I think he's going to be on the verge of getting lapped here. But X-Revolution has a very nice run heading up El Rouge and Radion. He's going to get very bad dirty air here, but he actually manages to hold on. Normally, I would be in the wall at that time, but now he will have the arrows. They make contact. There did X-Revolution and Zach Crun, I believe. I think they made front to rear contact, but now Revolution down the inside on Zach Crun, well, around the outside on Zach Crun, I should say, heading into Lake Coombe, and he's going to get the move done. Toddy is down at the moment, heading through the corner with no name, as Tao gets himself another 3-second penalty, so that's going to hurt him a bit. He's on the rear at the moment of Aaron. We're going to go back to that battle, actually, because Aaron, I think, is trying to make a move here. He is down the inside on F1 Amazing Hour, and he doesn't get it done. Amazing Hour forced to cut the track. And now will Tao get the job done? He will. So Tao just got himself another 3-second penalty. So is that out to 6 seconds now, I believe, for Tao? Yeah, so
6 seconds for Tao, nothing for Amazing Hour, and 3 seconds for Aaron in P5. So at the moment, Amazing Hour looking good for that P5.
So Tao's going to drop down a bit here, unfortunately for him. And I think Gaming Wafer, actually no, he's a solid 20 seconds behind. He's running a pretty lonely race at the moment, is Gaming Wafer, we'll be honest. But it looks like Romeo Alonso and Spilly have now swapped positions. Up into P10 now goes Romeo Alonso. He's obviously on the medium compound of tyre. But now they are about to start the penultimate lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. Dr. Dre, another 3-second penalty. I believe he still does have the fastest lap, but do you want to quickly just update us one more time, Smeg, on what the go is with warnings? See how many warnings each of these, or just mainly these top 2 have. This is the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix. Revolution, 0.6 of a second separate himself and Zach Crichton.
So with Revolution, he's got 3 seconds next to his name, plus 2 warnings. So if he gets one more, that's another 3 seconds. And that's pretty much it for Revolution. Zach Crichton is still only on 1. He's been mega consistent on the medium tyre. And at the moment, he is lining himself up for a victory here at Belgium.
So we'll have to see. Obviously, Zach Crichton will want to win it on track. He won't want to... His extra Revolution nearly binned it there. He got a massive snap of oversteer just on acceleration, as it is very easy to do when you get up on that curb. But I think what Zach needs to do here is just try and keep an extra Evolution to DRS and slipstream. I don't think he necessarily needs to pass him, but now Aaron and Tal have just swapped positions.
Oh! And Zach has a bit of a moment at No Name. He made contact with the outside wall. Surprising to see he has no damage. That was quite a severe impact there. It hasn't cost him too much time either. I'm quite surprised by that. It has dropped him a little bit, but if he just stays within this second range, he's quite easily going to get victory here. Just going to keep an eye out on the warning though, because you never know. Oh, goodness me. Ending to a race we might have.
There's a couple of battles on track at the moment. There's one obviously between Zach and Extra Evolution. Zach nearly ended Extra Evolution there. I'm not too sure if you saw that, but will we see some games now being played by the drivers? It is the final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. Revolution had a very poor exit there. Zach does not want to give this position up. As you can see, he's pretty much pushing him into turn 1. He backs off massively. Extra Evolution, I think that was a fake lock up there. He doesn't want to do it. Does Zach, but he's going to do it, I think. Will we see Zach slam on the brakes? But no, he's given it because I think he may have just got DRS. Actually, no, because it was farther down. So, Extra Evolution. Oh, he nearly makes contact there, did Extra Evolution. That was very close. But now Revolution will have DRS. Heading down the camel straight, they go. Zach doesn't defend the inside line, but I don't think Zach needs to put up a fight here because he just needs to stay within 3 seconds. It's just risking damage and potentially retiring the car. But now Revolution up back into the lead. And Zach nearly makes contact there with the Red Bull car. They continue on though. Zach still side by side with Revolution. Zach nearly loses it. Heading through that right hand, but he holds on to it. This is battle. It's not over. Obviously, Zach at the moment does not have any time penalties, but he can't afford to get a penalty because then he will actually have to pass Revolution, but he obviously wants to win it on track. Aaron has now dropped a spot to Tao, so Tao up in a P5, and he gets a massive snap of oversteer there, Tao, but we're going to stay on board here with the battle for the lead. There is obviously a battle here for P3 as well, but Zach will be trying to set it up for the bus stop chicane. He just needs to stay within slipstream range. Revolution, 40% ERS at the moment, so if I was him, I'd be chucking it up to hot lap already. Zach has around 30%, so it's going to be a tight battle here on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Zach will get a nice toe heading down this short straight into Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane. As you can see, he's already gaining on that Red Bull car. He's going to try and go side by side as he through Blanchimont, and he goes to the outside line now. Does Zach? He's going to go around the outside. This is risking a penalty here for Zach, but he's going to have the inside line now for the bus stop, deeper on the brakes. Zach Crichton, does he hold on to it? He's really deep. And Revolution's going to get a switchback. Will Revolution take the win? He's going to go side by side. Oh, I think Zach was always going to win that, but let's see what the gap was in the end between them. See who actually won.
At the moment, the game can't decide. The game can't decide the gap between the
that
top
was
two.
mega tight. But
and Mackenzie gets P3 because of penalties. A very nice drive for him. F1 Amazing Hour will end up finished in P5. That scuffle between himself, Aaron, and a very lazy Tal. 40 will keep P4.
Game F1 will be the next driver to come across the line as he now crosses the line for the 22nd time, and he will now finish P8, I believe, if he doesn't have any penalties. And now Dr. Dre will come home P9 as well with the fastest lap, I believe, as well. So he will take
contact between Alonso and Spilly in the final corner, and Alonso will crash it across the line.
Fair enough.
Dear me. And El Tonki will round off the finishing drivers here in Belgium. Only 12 finishes here out of 17 drivers, 5 retirements. Out of that, an absolutely superb battle for the lead, I have to say. Even though it was going to be dictated by penalties in the end, that was absolutely brilliant between those two, both Revolution and Zach Crichton. Wow.
That is your podium, as you can see. Congratulations to our top 3 podium getters and the Mercedes-AMG Petronas team for winning the Belgian Grand Prix. This is only going to extend Zach Ryan's lead in the championship, so he can pretty much, I believe, miss 2 rounds now, and I think he'll still be in the lead. But let's have a quick look now on your screen to see what the gap was in the end. 3 1,000ths of a hundredths of a second separated them in the end. 3 100ths of a second separated the end, so that was mega close between those two. But obviously Zach Ryan takes the win of the Belgian Grand Prix for Mercedes ahead of the Red Bull of Extra Evolution, and Mackenzie will come home P3. If you want to quickly invite the top 3 to the party, that would be good. I'll actually give me 1 sec. Actually, if you want to read through the order for me real quick.
The order?
Yeah.
The complete order for this
yeah.
race?
Oh yeah, just go through the whole order. Yeah.
So Zach Ryden P1, Revolution P2, Stuart McKenzie P3, 40 P4, F1 Amazing Hour P5, Aaron P6, Lazy Tail P7, Gaming Wafer P8, Dr. Dre P9, Romy Alonso P10, Spilly P11, and El Tonki rounds out the finishing drivers in P12.
Okay, so we're going to try and get the top 3 into the the party chat now for you guys. We'll be back with you shortly, so stay tuned and we'll try and get some post-race interviews for you. Alright, so now we have our top 2 and the position 4 in the party with us here for some post-race interviews. Congratulations, Zach Crime, Stuart McKenzie. Unfortunately, Extra Evolution wasn't able to join us because he is having a couple of technical difficulties, but we have managed to get 4022 in here for a interview as well. Congratulations to you all on your results, but obviously Zach Crime, that battle with Extra Evolution in the end there, obviously we're risking a penalty in the end there. Obviously, I believe you only have 1 warning for the whole race, but mega race there in the end.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, he was slowly catching maybe a few tenths a lap, and I was like, oh, start saving now, because I know that he was going to catch up to me. And yeah, we started that nice battle, and then I thought on the last lap, I thought I had the DRS, but I didn't really know where the line was, so stuffed that up, and then yeah, went side by side for a few corners, and yeah, just stayed behind and turned the wick up for the final chicane and just got it done across the line. But yeah, had to risk it because just love a great battle. Can never miss out on a battle, even though I didn't have a penalty there. But yeah, it was great fun.
I'll say it was like 3/100th of a second. It was in the end between you and then crossing the line. So that was mega tight. But we'll move on to you still, Mackenzie. Unfortunately, as we said, Revolution has not got a mic for us to talk. But we'll move on to our third place getter here in the Grand Prix. Obviously, I believe you finished P5 on track, but after penalties.
No. I finished P3 on track. We had like 10 seconds to towel in that.
Oh, okay. No, did you?
I got P3.
Yeah, I
No,
thought
Bailey, what do you want about you? No, I got P3 on track, bro. You got P4.
No, I beat you across the line. We were side by side. I got you.
On track, I finished P4, but because you're 5 second.
Yeah.
So
carry on, Lockie.
Yeah, so I unfortunately we didn't get that on stream. So maybe you can give us a little insight on what was happening there with you two.
So basically, Bailey got bored and watched the stream with the last lap battle of Zach, and that's I gained about maybe 1.5 seconds on the last lap. So on the coming into the chicane, he covered the inside, so I let go of the brakes a little bit and just centered up the inside of the second part of the bus stop, and we were basically side by side up to the line.
And you ran out of fuel.
Yeah, and I ran out of fuel crossing the line. So yeah,
so
that's basically what happened.
Yeah, so and 40 as well. Looked like you were quicker at the start of the race. Obviously, qualified on pole position, but it just didn't look like you had the race pace that you ideally would have wanted.
Yeah, those guys are Zach and Revolution were heaps quicker. Obviously, the VSC helped out Zach heaps, and I thought if I could just sit within Revolution, he could maybe pull me along, and if I'd have been able to do that, he definitely would have. But no, I made that mistake after the Camel Straight, and I was pretty lucky to hold onto the car after that. But I'll take home P4 at the moment. I'm going to try and get that 5 seconds removed. Bit of a stitch up, but we'll see what happens. So I'm happy either way.
You have any questions, Smeggy?
Well, I'd just like to ask Zach, first of all, congrats with the win, and you're a bot, because honestly, this is one of the few races where I've seen you not get a single penalty. That is very well done. But did you plan to undercut the guys around you, or was it more of an instinctive thing? And were you surprised that no one followed you into the pits?
Yeah, I was planning to pit one lap earlier the most, and that's why I let Bailey go through before I pitted, because I didn't want him to come in, because I knew that we'd probably set off a whole train coming in behind me. So I was like, I should probably let him go here before I pit. And yeah, luckily the VSC came out just before I left the pit, so got me a nice little gap, and then could chill, save my battery, and but I was happy with my pace, just braking because the boards weren't there on the final chicane as well, so struggling into that final third a few times, I must say, a few mistakes that race, but it was great, no penalties.
That first VSC though, coming into that last chicane was very, very hectic indeed. We had like 5 of us all backed up into each other.
Yeah, well, I saw that as well. So what? I think extra.
Our delta just kept dropping.
Yeah, because
then I went to neutral once I got past you.
I went in neutral as well. Yeah.
That's what happened. I was like,
We all just got scared.
Back to 4th or whatever, and then I was like, I've got to go here and make some.
I was so lucky not to draw you, Zach, in that chicane though. Holy shit! I had both fronts locked up.
Yeah, that was
You guys would push me along onto the VSC, and then I see you guys dropped off, and I'm wondering why. And then I see I'm like 5/10 the wrong way on my delta. I've just put on the brakes, so it was a bit lucky, but yeah.
Do you have any more questions, Smeg?
Just to Stuart Mackenzie, you were mentioning an incident that I unfortunately didn't see, but Expert, I believe, did between you and Aaron. Do you want to walk us through?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I mean, I can't really say much. We were both pushing hard to, obviously, get in on our own left to try and minimise the gap that Zach would have had coming out of the pits. And I've got a good run coming into Blanchemont, and I've kind of I've stuck my nose in on the outside, and he's kind of obviously moved over to cover me into the bus stop, and there's a bit of an overlap between my front wing and his right rear, so I'm not too sure how the stewards will look at it. I definitely want to apologise to Aaron because obviously it's not, you don't want to be involved in any sort of incidents on track and virtual or real life, and but yeah, no, I'll probably have a chat with him over the next couple of days just to obviously apologise to him and just make sure we're all good, because I'm quite good mates with him off track, and don't want to let a fight or an incident between either of us, no matter what the stewards say, get in the way of that.
Yep. Well, so that I'm sure, is that all now, Smeg? I haven't got any other questions, unless you have one for 40.
Maybe to 40. You were fighting hard with the two guys in front of you earlier in the race between yourself, Revolution, and Zach, so you clearly showed a very good pace, as well as getting pole position, which also, congratulations on that. It was a very, very good time.
Bit of a fluke, but I'll take it. Yeah.
Hey, fluke's the fluke. It happens. It does happen. But
No, I'll take it.
did you just not have good race pace? Did the strategy not really go your way this race, or was it something else? Just walk us through what happened.
I got no idea. Seeing Revolution pull at least, I think it was 6 or 7 tenths a lap. That was that was a bit of a punch in the gut. I don't know. Belgium's not one of my quickest tracks. My main focus was to keep within DRS of Zach and Revolution. But once I fell out of that, that's where I really get affected. So I think if I hadn't been able to stay in that DRS, it might have been a different story. But once I'm going out of that, those guys are way too quick for me. So I kind of use that as my little barrier to stay with them.
All right. Easy.
I think that does me. I can't think of any more questions, not off the top of my head anyway.
Do you guys have any interviews for each other? You have any questions for each other?
On a scale of
Anyone
1 to
wanna
lucky
shit
as
talk?
fuck, on a scale of 1 to lucky as fuck, how happy were you, Zach, about that VSC coming out when it did?
Oh, I saw it. I was like, oh, it would have been nice if it came out a little bit earlier, but
Mate.
it was nice. Had that 3-second gap and just chilled, then put the foot down and went. But yeah, I was probably, I'll give it a 6 for you.
Yeah.
6 or a 7. So yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining the post-race interviews. Congratulations on your results as well. But thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Thank you so much, Smeg, for joining me in the commentary box as well. Hopefully, we can continue that on for the next couple of weeks. Thank you for joining me in the commentary box, Smeg. But that has been your Dynamic Nights Esports Belgian Grand Prix Master Tier. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you guys next time.